Hi, I'm Maddy Meadows-McDonnell. I major in environmental science and policy and biology. I live in Wilson House. I'm in the class of 2018, and I'm originally from Indianapolis, Indiana. Awesome. Well, I actually just love doing research in general, so I don't have anything specific that I love more than anything else, but primarily in the past I've done a lot of ecophysiology, which is using plant physiology to sort of scale up to ecosystem level interactions and understanding sort of ecosystem level processes. But I've also done some methodology research for the intertidal zone, and I love sort of the marine life aspect as well, so I'm really not picky about what I do. I just love doing research. I used a clear-cut experiment in Harvard Forest, and I studied the dominant species that were present after a clear-cut event, and I studied the physiological mechanisms of these species to sort of parse out what mechanisms allow them to exist in the mature forest profile. I used data that was collected by Kyle Boyd, who was a former IGNACE lab member who graduated in 2015, and she collected all of this data during her RU at Harvard Forest in the summer of 2014. And she mostly collected response curves, both CO2 and light response curves, using the Lycor 6400, as well as leaf tissue analysis, like ratios of carbon and nitrogen in the leaf tissue, as well as stable isotope analysis. And I used all these parameters total to get a really good picture of what's going on in the plant. But in order to get the parameters, I needed to do a lot of data analysis of the curves. So I had to input the curves into Excel, and I had to analyze all the curves to make sure that there wasn't anything weird happening in the curves, they all looked normal. And then I put the curves into models after that to get the photosynthetic parameters I needed to really analyze the data properly. And then once I got the parameters, I could sort of combine that with the leaf tissue analysis and really get a good mechanistic physiological picture of the plants. The most challenging part was definitely analyzing the curves at first, because I had to figure out which models would be the best fit for my data, and then I had to spend time really going through all the Excel sheets, deleting excess data, compiling it into one big data sheet, then putting it through the models and getting those parameters out. The models were very nitpicky. I had to really troubleshoot and ask Google really what was happening to my model and why it wasn't working. And then after that, it was putting the data into R and coding it and visualizing the data in a way that would make sense. And by the end, the hardest part was definitely putting it all together into a clear picture, because I had so much data from the whole ecosystem and from each whole plant and between 6 species, and I really had to put it together to make sure that I could have a good narrative to explain. Outside of the lab, primarily I'm a swimmer. I swam for 4 years at Smith, and I was the captain my senior year. So that was really fun, a lot of time and effort, but really worth it. I also play the oboe in the orchestra at Smith, the principal oboist, and I've been rehearsing for my concerto concert that's coming up pretty soon for commencement. And I also do some lifting for swimming, and I love lifting weights just for exercise in general. It's really, really fun. After graduation, I'm going to take a year off of school and get a job. I'm going to go home for the summer and work at a data job there. I'm going to input instances of endangered species and map them with GIS, and do that for a few months, and then I'm going to come back to the area, the Western Mass area, and hopefully work in a lab or in a lab tech company. And then after a year, I'm going to hopefully get my PhD somewhere in the US and study whatever, I'm not sure yet, but maybe ecophysiology or intertidal research in ecology. First question, Halloween or 4th of July? Definitely 4th of July. I love summer and being out on the water, lakes. Perfect. Pizza or tacos? Pizza, for sure. Love pizza. Favorite season? Fall. It's my birthday, and I love the fall colors and the cool weather. Sweet or salty snacks? Ooh, definitely salty. I actually never really eat sweets. I don't crave it for some reason. It's a little weird, but that's who I am. Red Sox or Yankees? I don't have a preference. I think my dad would say Yankees, so I'm gonna go Yankees. All right, East Coast or West Coast? Definitely East Coast. Alright, we've got 2 there, okay. This one, favorite candy, probably Snickers. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that. Dogs or cats? Cats 100%. Though I love dogs too, but I love cats more. Last one. Beach or lake? I'm gonna go with the beach. I love the salty smell and